All right, here we go. Brand new Flyers Daily for the 18th of September, 2024. Flyers' first preseason game coming up in just a couple of days, coming up on Sunday at 3 o'clock when they take on the Washington Capitals. Second game also on the road in Montreal to take on La Habitante, the Canadiens, and we'll be underway. Camp getting underway today. Some media day stuff that the players are doing today. Tomorrow is the skate test. And Friday, practices, scrimmages, and preparations begin in earnest for the full group. Full camp really begins on Thursday with that skate in the rear view. Get to Friday, scrimmages, and much more. So we are here, thank goodness. And good news from Danny Brière as he met with the media yesterday to report all players that are coming in healthy. 3 guys that were dealing with some injuries or surgeries in the offseason, including Sean Couturier, Jamie Drysdale, and Rasmus Ristolainen, all a full go for camp right out of the gate. 3 guys that were in rookie camp are dealing with some stuff. Samu Tuomala is dealing with something. He had the game-winning goal on Saturday's rookies game against the Rangers. Denver Barkey still dealing with the after effects of having mono this summer, mononucleosis, and defenseman prospect Carter Sotheran is also rehab after being diagnosed with an irregular heartbeat condition known as Wolff-Parkinson-White syndrome. So they're coming in healthy. Hopefully you can get out of the preseason, get out of camp with healthy bodies as well. It is a grueling camp for John Tortorella, but that is necessary to get yourself game ready. Because you look at it, you go, okay, 82 games in the beginning of the year don't mean that much. It means way more at the end. Not true. Those 2 points that are available on October 11th, 12th, or October 27th versus Montreal are just as important as the games at the end of the year when the Flyers will be facing off against the Islanders on April 12th or the Ottawa Senators on April 13th or wrapping it up April 17th against the Buffalo Sabres. They're all 2 points is 2 points. So getting off to a good start like last year can do a couple of things. Number one, it can instill a lot of belief in the dressing room right out of the gate. We saw that last year. All the pundits and a lot of the fans and many others, myself included, didn't think the Flyers were going to be a team that would be contending for a playoff spot. Certainly not up until game 82. And they came out and they got off to a good start and they put themselves in a good position. Ultimately, losing 9 out of 11 down the stretch obviously crushed their chances to make the playoffs. This year, you want to avoid that, but you still want to get off to the start you got off to last year to, again, put yourself in position and build up the belief inside the dressing room. Build that chemistry. Also, Danny Brière spoke about the Alexei Kolosov situation. And before we get to our 2 feature interviews, one with Carson Bjarnason, goaltending prospect for the Flyers, and also Emil Andre, Danny Brière said something in the availability about Alexei Kolosov that he wanted to come over, basically be guaranteed a spot in the NHL or play in the KHL. And while I like Kolosov as a goaltending prospect, I do, that's ludicrous. He has not put himself in a position at his age to make that kind of demand. I'll come over if I can play for the big club, but I'm not going to play in the AHL. He's a good goaltending prospect. He is not a sure thing like Igor Shesterkin when he came over at 25, or Ilya Sorokin when he came over 24, 25. Far different. So, fact of the matter is, he's got to come over and earn it in the AHL, and he's got a good chance to. Biggest question mark going into the season is goaltending. Is Ersson a bona fide starter? Is Fedotov an NHL goalie? And you definitely need at least 3 goalies, sometimes 4 like last year, sometimes many more throughout a season. Come over, control what you can control, put great performances in camp, go to the AHL, put good performances in there, and make yourself the option if somebody is either to get injured or falter. Guaranteeing a player like Alexei Kolosov a spot in the NHL is a non-starter. It's a non-starter. So while it doesn't seem like, based on that and hearing that that it was an issue of him not adjusting to North America, or, I mean, there's going to be an adjustment, and that's going to be part of the equation. But really, the reason why he didn't come over for development camp and why he's not reporting now and wants to play in the KHL is because he doesn't have a guaranteed spot. I find that stunning. I was stunned to hear Danny Brière bring that up. All right, let's get to our feature interviews. We've got 2 of them. The first one comes with Flyers goaltending prospect Carson Bjarnason. Now, Carson was in camp last year. They had to basically kick him out of here. He loves being here, loves being in the facility, and he had a really good year and had a really good offseason as well. I thought he struggled a little bit in the development camp scrimmage. Wasn't great for him. Some pucks got through him, game got on top of him, albeit a scrimmage. In the rookie games, I thought he performed excellent. Nothing got through him. The first 2 goals he gave up on Friday's game were both rebound goals in tight, one a power play. The third goal he gave up was on a 2-on-1 and just a great redirect into the top part of the net. And then he gave up one, obviously, in the shootout. Thought he had a great performance. And Saturday, on 14 shots in the first period of that game, the only reason the Phantoms went into the break up 1-0 was the strong goaltending he provided in that first period. So I thought he had a real good weekend. So far, he's had a really good camp. So here's my conversation with Flyers goaltending prospect Carson Bjarnason.
We're live at rookie camp, rookie games in the rearview mirror, and joining us on this episode is Flyers goaltending prospect Carson Bjarnason. Carson, how you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. How'd you feel about your weekend? Because I liked it.
I appreciate that. It was good. It's always a learning curve, and I was definitely a lot less nervous this year. I feel like I had a great work of summer here with Daly and Bobby. So, it was definitely a lot more confidence going into this year. Just obviously having 1 year under my belt and, not near as much nerves, but it was a lot of fun.
So when you arrived for rookie camp, do you feel, because of that familiarity of last year, does everything just feel more comfortable coming here?
Yeah,
relationships included.
For sure. Yeah, obviously seeing all the older guys before, they, not all of them will know who I am, but I know who they are, and I've met them all by now. So it was definitely really nice to come in here, in that way and skate with some of the older guys. But in regards to still being a rookie and all that, I'm still wanting to be here, taking in a lot. I want to be able to look up to even guys 2 years older than me, like Ethan Sampson. He's kind of somebody. I'm not going to say it to him right in his face, but he's somebody I follow around pretty heavily and just kind of make sure I know what he's doing, and takes care of himself really well, and Millsy too, just those kind of guys. It's nice to soak that all up.
The development camp scrimmage kind of got on top of you a little bit.
Yeah.
But to come back in rookie camp and play the way you played this past weekend, going into those games, what was your mindset going into those games, and what was your mindset coming out of those games, the rookie games?
Yeah, just in general, coming to this camp, nobody's going to say they don't want to make the Flyers this year, right? Coming into this camp, that's what I want to do. I want to make the team.
Put them to a decision.
Yeah, and I want to show them that I can, play at this level for long stints of time. These practices are getting pretty hard right now, so it's just a matter of battling through it and keeping my habits. That's the biggest thing. When I'm tired, I have to make sure, I stay on top of that kind of stuff. But going into the games, it was just, I treated it like every other game, like the Team Canada games this past summer, and kind of having just a set routine. It's nice coming here. Those are the first few games that you kind of, okay, this is what works for me. Last year, this didn't work for me, kind of thing. So coming out of the games, it was on the bus on the way home, I watched the game twice over again. I just wanted to see how I was doing, especially late in the game as I got tired. And it's just something I'm going to take back to Brandon this year and, use it to my advantage.
You felt it last year, a little bit in the preseason, obviously, too. You take that back to Brandon last year. What changed in your preparation from the end of this season into this season, knowing what you know now, based on last year, the past season, and what's ahead?
Yeah, off ice is just such a big thing, especially for the Flyers organization. That's something, I'm learning new workouts. I'm learning new ways to kind of be a better goalie, not just, trying to bodybuild and, get as big as I can. I don't want to be, have too much weight going into the post, that kind of thing. So off ice is a big thing, just like any kind of cool down. We have a new, head AT and Lehigh Kendron. And, she's teaching me stuff. She's kind of teaching me what not to do, what to do kind of after practices and stuff, especially heavy ones. And then
recovery.
Just that kind of stuff. And then on the ice, just trying to soak all this stuff up. Like hopefully in main camp, I'll be put with Ursa or something. Literally anybody. I can learn something new from any person, in this camp, whether,
You're really aware of that, like kind of looking at, okay, what's he doing kind of when he's not in drill or after practice.
And off ice, it's anybody. Like I'll look at anybody and see what they're doing. But on ice, like obviously I'm looking at Ursa, I'm looking at PD, I'm looking at all those kind of guys. And I mean, they're where they are for a reason. Like they do little things right. And I just want to, kind of emulate that too.
Let me take you like over the last 14 months, drafted, first camp, all the things that go with it, the Team Canada experience, here now. I mean, you got all of these things, that it's been a pretty wild 14 months for you.
Coming from where I am and kind of stuff, just not having the, I wasn't the greatest growing up. So kind of putting the work in is definitely paying off. But then again, this is just the start. Like hopefully this is the start of a long career here, not only just in general, but I want to stay here. That's something I really want to, look.
You want to be part of this.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
I saw you got a new bucket, you got a new mask.
It's not bad.
What's the theme? I haven't seen it close up yet.
Just Flyers in general. I got my boy Franny. Shout out to Franny. He painted
Franny
it.
Drummond.
Yeah, he's unbelievable, man. He's such a great guy.
Yeah,
he's an awesome dude. He put the bear on there for me. That's just kind of a staple for me that I have on everything. He got the bell. I think it's
Liberty Bell.
Tower. Yeah, Liberty Bell. And then on the back, I just have a couple of guitar themes throughout the bottom, and then I got my number on it. Got my 64. So it's pretty wicked. Yeah,
getting the new mask is. I mean, it's awesome. The mask is the coolest thing in sports.
Yeah, for sure.
It's one of the things that led me to the position, and it leads a lot of people to the position. Carson, enjoy the rest of this camp. Thanks for doing this, man.
Thank you so much.
Really appreciate it. We'll talk again before you're out here for sure.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks to Carson Bjarnason for taking the time yesterday after practice to sit down with yours truly. Hope you guys enjoyed that conversation. Our second sit down comes with a guy who I thought, another guy, had a really good 2 rookie games. He saw 4 NHL games last year. I'm talking about Emil Andre. He was taken 54th overall in the 2020 NHL entry draft. He was taken in the second round. He looks like he added a little bit of muscle to his frame this offseason. It looks like he has a little bit more burst, too. We'll talk about some changes he made to his preparation for this season. Ended up playing 61 games last year for the Phantoms. Dealt with a concussion when he got sent back down, but eventually really played his best hockey in the second half of the season and into the playoffs. In those 61 games, 5 goals. How about 27 assists and 32 points? That's pretty darn good. Emil Andre had 2 really good rookie games showing off the full arsenal of what he brings to the table. And it's not just the offensive element and the great stretch passes and ability to skate himself out of jail. He defended much better in the rookie games this year than he did a year ago, and that's a big step forward. So here's my conversation with Flyers defense prospect Emil Andre.
It is Flyers Daily from rookie camp, on our way to main camp, not quite there just yet, and we're with Flyers prospect defenseman Emil Andre. Played 4 games last year. You want to play some more this year, don't you?
Yeah, I will. I want to.
How did last year lead you into your offseason? Because you guys made the playoffs with the Lehigh Valley Phantoms. Like I said, you had the 4 games with the Flyers. Ultimately, you guys get into the playoffs. You win a round against Wilkes-Barre Scranton. Then you go up against Hershey. I thought you played them hard. That's a good team. How did you kind of first decompress from the season in a playoff run and then get back to training?
It was a long season for me. I mean, it was a tough season, but all the games, it was a little bit of a transition for me. Playing like, I don't know, maybe 80 to 90 games.
Most you've ever played?
Yeah, most I've ever played, and I played a lot of minutes also during the year. So my body needed a little rest. So I took a couple of weeks off after I got home to Sweden, and then starting training back home. And I feel like I was. After those weeks, I took a couple of rests. I actually felt that I wanted to go back in the gym and get better.
Did you get on the ice earlier than normal or later than normal as a result?
I would say normal, as I've been before.
So you start with the gym, then you go to the on ice.
Yeah,
and
I was
start ramping.
Probably in the gym in a month or so before I went to the ice again. And then before I came here, I started like going on the ice every day, kind of. So I did most in the beginning off ice, and then I did it on ice.
How's your training changed?
I usually play when I played in HV. I always we practiced during the summer with the team, and I had that that physical coach over there. And then now I had to get my own coach, and we were a little bit of a group that play around the league in the AHL, and a couple Swedish guys that I played with during my career. So we were a couple guys that train in the same facilities there, and did all together with a personal trainer. So that's how I switched it around a little bit.
Was there any kind of different area of focus on what you wanted to accomplish physically? Like, more burst or?
Yeah, I'll say more individual for sure. We're a smaller group now. When you're with the team in HV, it was more like not that individual, but now I really told the guy what I wanted to do and what I want to accomplish during the summer and what I want to get better at. So more individual for sure.
When you get here to camp and you see the work of your summer, and everybody's stacking up against everybody here because everybody's coming in and trying to make an impression. How have you felt on the ice?
I felt good. Felt pretty light legs, if you know what I mean. I feel like
heavy legs not good.
Yeah, heavy legs not good. And of course, there's a hard practices here, and you really have to practice tired. But I feel like I'm doing a good job this summer, and I feel faster, I feel stronger, and I feel a little overall better. So hopefully I can get that into the season.
The rookie games on Friday and Saturday against the Rangers at the PPL Center. I thought in both games you really showed your full arsenal kind of the skills you bring. And we know about your offensive. There was a play in the first game where you step out from behind your own net, you start a rush, and then you join it and turn to a really good scoring chance. And we know you have those things. Your head's always up and looking and calculating. But the way you defended and where you put your body, I thought was a little different than last year. And is using your stick, especially there was a break against Edstrom, who is 6'7", and you're not. Neither am I. But the way you position your body and use your stick to defend that rush attempt, is that something you really kind of dialed in on this summer, and how to defend, especially against bigger guys?
I think actually during the season last year, I started picking up those things. Maybe it wasn't that good during the beginning of last season, but then when I played the half season and I start getting into the end of the season, I start picking up things, and I feel like I already started late in last season to do those kind of things, and hopefully I can keep doing it and keep doing it even better because I need that because I'm smaller. So hopefully I can keep develop that little area and be better at it.
Retrievals in the D zone, putting your back to a forecheck to go in for pucks on the M wall, and those kind of things. That's something that, having played those games in the NHL and then playing all last year, is there a different way of attacking that now for you, knowing that what's coming in on you, how fast it gets there in these two leagues, and how to be effective in that regard?
Yeah, there's a couple tips and tricks I got last year from the coaches here, and
Smitty in particular. Yeah.
I feel like here on the smaller ice, you have to be a little bit faster to the puck and do the first move a little bit faster. It's rarely you get the puck and you find the stick right away. It's more maybe get a guy to you, and then pass your partner, and then he can get a good pass and
release the pressure a little bit.
Maybe use the walls a little bit more. But yeah, I feel like that's also a thing I developed during last year too, and got better and more effective and more efficient, I think.
In kind of reading, I'm not an expert on body language, but in reading body language, you look like you always look like a confident player because your head's always up, and I've said this quite a bit, that you never look like a player that's playing catch up on the ice. When you get the puck, you kind of already know where everybody's at, because you're always like a computer kind of assessing everything. Is that something that's always been a part of your game? Were you always a very aware player of not only where your teammates are, what your options are, but where pressure is and where trouble can come from?
I feel like that's been my strength since I started.
Have you heard that before?
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've always heard that like I'm a smart player, and as you said, I always like to keep my head up and use my vision, because I feel like that's a really good strength I have. So I gotta take advantage of that, and I like to be like, I'm not the fastest guy on the ice, so I would rather like be smart out there and make good plays. So I like to keep my head up and make passes.
You may not be the fastest straight line guy, but you do have a unique ability to skate yourself out of jail.
Yeah, I'll agree. I agree exactly. Maybe I'm not the fastest guy on the straights, but like that's also a thing. Like you have to be smart where you put your body and where you take your first steps too. So that's maybe true. Yeah.
I know you talked about Matt Vey and your initial impressions of him after the first day, and you brought up his competitiveness. What have you seen out of Matt Vey now in just about a week's time that you've been with him? Because there's a really dynamic skill set there, and it looks like there's a lot of fight in that dog.
Yeah. As I said there when I got the question, I really think he's a competitive player. Like during practices, and you can see on the games too, he works hard. He wants the puck and he wants to score and he wants to make those passes, and that's kind of what I like to see from my teammates. And I always love to play with those guys, because I feel like I am as a player too. I want the puck. I want to make plays. I want to make a difference. And when I see a guy like him doing that, it's really nice to see, and I enjoy watching him every day.
Last question for you. Jetlachenko was the Flyers' first pick in this draft, 13th overall in the first round. Comes in, he was the youngest player in the draft, but his skating, I mean, it's obvious that's at his biggest strength.
Mm-hmm.
But what have you seen out of Jet? Because in those games, it really was apparent too. Little small area battles. He's not the biggest guy in the world, but he comes out with the puck quite often with a really good stick.
Yeah, that's also a guy I didn't know who he was before I got here. I saw him on the ice, and I really think he's a really great player. I mean, he was fast, as you said, and I think all of us can see that. But during the games, I feel like he always keep his head up too, and he make really good plays. And off the end walls, well, there's a lot of big guys on that team. He made some really good plays, and I really enjoyed playing with him. And he's a really good guy, and he's having a bright future in front of him.
The funny thing is, it seemed like at times he was almost directing out there, like pointing, like, hey, give me an area pass so I can skate into it, and those kind of things. For a young guy, it's kind of rare. Emil, thanks for doing this. Have a great camp.
Yeah, thank you.
Good luck coming up on Thursday.
Thank you.
You learned from that last year. What did you learn about the skate? Don't empty the tank right away, right?
I mean, it's a sprint. That's what they say, but I mean, you
got to pace yourself a little bit.
Do your 100% and you'll be fine.
Finish.
Yeah.
Emil, thanks for doing this.
Thank you.
Great to catch up with Emil Andre, Carson, Bjarnason. Hope you guys enjoyed those conversations. We'll be back Friday. Camp will be underway. We're going to talk to a veteran player on Thursday, and we'll bring that to you coming up on Friday. I'm not sure who yet. I got a couple ideas, but I'm not sure exactly who yet. We'll also get to some mailbag stuff coming up on Friday's episode as well. I got some emails that have come in that I'd like to address, some really good ones. So we'll do that on our Friday episode. So everybody have a great couple of days. See if you can get out to Flyers training camp and check out the sessions. So join us then, Friday, on a brand new Flyers Daily.